Jon, it's such a pleasure to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's great stuff. So, Jon, a lot of things are happening on the world of social media marketing. A lot of changes, a meltdown across the Facebook public company, Meta. They had the first quarter ever that the user base did not grow.
Right.
First time in history. But like you said, on all these years, what they did was unheard of and unreal. And not only that, the pace at which they were growing. But people don't understand the fact that we have somewhere around 8 billion people in the world. And the internet, by the way, happens to only be accessible to half of those, which is somewhere around 4 billion people. And people on the Facebook family of apps, there's 75% of them, right? So when you think about that, guaranteed across the entire planet of the internet, not just the entire planet of the internet, 3 out of every 4 human beings are using the Facebook family of apps. That is insane.
It really is.
How do you get to 4 out of 4? You can't get to 4 out of 4.
No.
You can't do that. No company's going to do that, right? So the fact that they actually have 75% of the entire population on the internet is ridiculous. So to say that the opportunity is gone is also ridiculous,
right.
Because the opportunity is there, but people like you and I, we get smart about it and we go deeper when things like this are happening because there's less advertising. So the Facebook advertising platform is driven by the cost of it. It's driven by supply and demand. There's less advertisers, the cost is going to go down, right? Because that's just the way it is. That's the way it works with everything in the world, supply and demand. So there is an opportunity right now on the platform. I believe there is a major opportunity on organic content distribution because of this whole short form content, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels right now. You're able to build great content. I mean, I see your content, Jon, and is performing really well. You get a lot of engagement on it. So obviously, even you posting that content is getting a lot more attention than your traditional Facebook page post, right? So the opportunity is becoming very obvious. So why don't we go into a few details of what's working on the Facebook family of apps right now, Jon, that you're seeing from everything that you're part of?
I mean, it's the short form video. I mean, video generally. And it's always been a question with Facebook is like, what comes first? Is it that people want this type of content? Or Facebook wants people to want that type of content, right? So they've prioritized video and short form video and reels to the point where it's like 50% of the feed now. But it's not really clear if that's because that's what Facebook wants or that's what users want or a combination of the two. It doesn't really matter for a marketer's point of view. Like we've got to take advantage of that, right? So for the longest time, the vast majority of my posts, my focus is on driving traffic to my website. So a lot of link posts, and I've written another blog post. Let's send you here. And over the years, and it wasn't like a noticeable immediate drop, just slowly dwindled to the point where it's like, I'm not driving the kind of traffic I used to. I'm not getting the same kind of reach and engagement on those posts that I used to. And it's partially a matter of playing the game, which I don't love. Like back in the day, like I don't even remember, it was like way back where like the whole algorithm was like, oh, if you did just text posts, you get the most reach. And then if you did image posts with the little ugly URL below it, you get the most reach and all this stuff. And like I ignored all that stuff, and because I thought we were kind of misguided on what was important in those cases, but eventually it's mattered. But I think this has also resulted in kind of a shift in what's important, right? So this has been the hardest part for me because my website and traffic and building my email list, all those things are so important. Like all my business happens on my website. My question with video has always been, well, that's always like a secondary or tertiary thing. Like if you've got a link or something, people don't often click on a link from a video to go to your website. Like they're consuming all the content that they need right there. Or, even if you kind of get them interested, you don't get a lot of clicks. And so that's always kind of held me back from creating video, in addition to just all the work that goes into it and putting yourself out there and whatnot. But I think it's a matter of understanding. It's like, and I'm seeing it now. It's like, no, like I might not be driving people to my website, but I am everywhere right now. And more than I have been in years on TikTok and Reels and on both Instagram and Facebook. I'm even venturing into YouTube shorts and the LinkedIn I'm doing with the video, and I'm actually repurposing this stuff for my podcast.
That's exciting. So you're omnipresent now, huh? You're everywhere.
That's the goal, right? So I would say I'm omnipresent. I'm much more so than I have been over the past 5 years. Right. And that's so now it's like what I had lost was not just the traffic started dwindling, But people started to think I disappeared, and I was no longer top of mind when it's like, oh, if you have this problem, Facebook ads related. Now it's like, well, the traffic may not be spiking and going crazy, but you know what? They're thinking of me again as a potential solution. So I'm also in this very early stage of this. You know, I'm using this short form video for the first time. And because I have a lot to learn, I'm just creating. I have no focus on driving traffic right now. No focus on selling stuff with it yet. I'm just trying to build my brand back to where it was. And like with TikTok, you know, I'm up to 3,500 followers or something right now. I'm gonna explode that if I can. And then one day, you know, I'll flip the switch and I'll start selling stuff again. But that's why it's like, I feel like I'm starting my business over, which is kind of exciting.
That's exciting. And that formula that you've applied, if you notice the logo and my company, AGM stands for Attention Grabbing Media. Mm-hmm. It's all about attention. You got attention, you can sell stuff. You don't have attention, you're going to struggle, especially in this social media environment. People are giving money to the ones that actually have given them value. The way that you are approaching it is the correct way, which is I'm not even thinking about selling yet. I just want to build my brand again. I want to start fresh in this particular new environment that has, because here's the thing, Jon, you are now being introduced to people that I know you. Right. For those of you guys that are watching Jon in this video, he's a marketing legend. I know you, but there's people that haven't been introduced to you yet because we have a new generation, right? So I actually am doing that. There's a friend of mine, one of my original mentors also on the e-commerce world. His name is 𝗙𝗎𝗪𝗓𝗪. I don't know if you heard about him before. He's he's a incredible marketer. He's never been in front of the camera. He's always been behind the camera, and he does webinars. He's actually known as the webinar king. Like there's nobody in the planet that has sold more on webinars than 𝗙𝗎𝗪𝗓𝗪. To give you an idea on how big of a deal this guy is, he did one webinar last year in which he sold $67 million in one single webinar. Incredible, right? There's nobody. He has a reputation in the field of marketing legend. But people in this industry, in this world, they don't know who the heck he is because he hasn't been in front of the camera. So now he's building his own world again. And he's like, you know what? I'm hungry again. I want to get on social media. I want to do that. So he's growing his YouTube channel, Facebook, his Instagram, his TikTok. He's going in. But if he doesn't go down that route, then you are going to slowly but surely disappear. Because then people like me, Jon, we die at some point, right? And the ones that remember Jon Loomer, they just forget about Jon Loomer, right?
Dude, it's absolutely true. And because it was such a gradual thing, it didn't really hit me until really this year where it's like, hell, I'm in trouble, right? What's funny is like, this is kind of a unique problem. It's a unique problem in a way you want to have. It's because of longevity, right? So I created that business, everything exploded, but you know, I have this young family. I don't want to be traveling the world and speaking all over the place at that point. Like, what I want my business to do is help me spend more time with my kids and coach their baseball teams and do all that business. And so basically, once everything exploded and you go through this period of time, it's like, oh, what software should I use? And you're using all this different stuff and trying all these different things. You're like, okay, let's slow down, right? I need to create a system. I need to make this as simple as possible. I want to work less and at least keep making the same amount of money. If I make more, great. And just keep this going as long as I can, right? That also means you're not changing. You're not evolving. And you expect everything else around you to keep going the way it was, right? That the people continue to consume content in the same way that you've always created it. And so it's kind of based on some assumptions that everything will continue to be okay. And honestly, I think starting with COVID forward, that's where it hit me hard. I mean, first of all, just me as an advertiser, I'm not comfortable marketing anyway, a lot of times, like selling my stuff. But once that hit and I started getting emails from people from all around the world, like in their suffering and pain, I was numb, man. I didn't want to create stuff and say, hey, buy this stuff. Like, I know you're suffering. Hey, come buy my thing. So it's really from that point forward that it started to escalate. But I feel like this is all in good timing in that, Yeah, but I just wrapped up my last season coaching baseball, which got more and more intense every year. So I was like, I was a full-time coach, part-time entrepreneur in a lot of ways. So when that came to a close and I kind of took a month off and just caught my breath, I'm like, okay, now I can focus on this stuff. And now I got to figure this out. And now I got to make some changes. So that's where we're at now.
That's amazing. Jon, well, thank you so much for your time. It's been great to have you here on the show. We might have to do this at some point in the future, going in a little bit more into technicalities of the platform. And I know you have endless value to share.